That's the first lap complete. So where are we? Oh, good question. Blue Gate Marathon. Australia, Sydney, Blue Mountains. Darra, Gunning country. Sincere thank you to First Nations people, past, present and emerging. Sincere thank you for this environment we live in and we're running. This is just gorgeous. So on the property of Tony from Blue Mountains Fitness, running his annual Blue Gate Marathon event. So Friday night, there was a group of about 15 odd runners set off to do the full event, which is the last person standing, last one standing, loser they believe. And at the moment, here we are, I think about 15 hours in, and there's still two runners going. So big shout out to Steve and Rob for still going after that time. It's been a long night, no doubt, out here. So we've had rain this morning, last night, yesterday, all week, end of the last week. It's wet, it's just muddy. So the property here, I'm not sure how many acres Tony's got, but it's a gorgeous property. And if you think about peeps who like to give themselves a nice property to run a bit of hobby farm or something on, this ain't it. There's no sheep, there's no cows, there's no horses. This is mountain goat country. The trails are the Tony's cut through here somehow, I don't know how, but they're just gorgeous, windy single track trails that wind through the property. We've just got there's a little bit of sort of nice flat trail that we move along quite well. Other areas where we're rock climbing and dropping down into the gorges over rocks through vegetation, and just an all-round fantastic track. So I'm one lap in. I'm doing the marathon. The lap's 8 kilometres, so I worked it out, about 5 laps. As you saw, we come through the first lap, start finish point, and we've got a short lap to do here back towards the finish before we head out on the main trail again. There's a bit of a shot of the mountains in all their glory. It's Tony's property there. Let me zoom in a bit. There's the start finish point where Tony and his family live. It's just a fantastic little spot. Pretty cloudy up here at the moment. So the trail here is a pretty typical single trail, just running through some of the higher elevation on the property, pretty rocky. A little bit damp underfoot, but most of the water's run off here, so it's not too wet at this point. As I say that, we come into the mud and you're thinking to yourself, it looks pretty wet. This is nothing. So this is the driest part of the course. It gets better as we go on. So we're at Mount Victoria, right at the back of the Blue Mountains, just before you drop down into the valley heading towards Oberon and those sort of places. Morning.
Hey, how are you, mate?
Oh wow.
You been going all night?
No, nothing too late, just first lap. Getting the finish. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I'm lacking a bit of experience, so just trying to take it easy.
So experience in like this type of trail or running in general?
This is my third marathon distance, but never on trail, so
Okay.
just trying to be mindful of how much that impacts. I'm trying to be kind to myself on lap 5, really. Just the concentration, I think I'm a bit worried about that for later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a couple of trips and falls. I'm thinking when I get tired, it's going to be hard. So
Yeah,
pull it back and just take it easy. There's the champions. Only on 5 laps today. Was it dry when you started out?
No, no, it was wet, but then it got really wet. At one point we had, well, there probably still are over the Papadino's paddock. It was just where we were running, then created the stream. So all the water was running down the path of where we were running.
Yeah.
So you just like hiking up the stream. You know? And then all this stuff
Yeah.
keeps getting worse.
There's a lot more feet on it now, it's just getting softer
Yeah.
and softer and slippery and slipperier.
Yeah, we were trying to sort of step to the sides and avoid that, but the fast guys were just flying straight through it.
Yeah.
Marathon that way.
Oh, have a good day, Rob. I'll see you again the next lap. Okay, so if you haven't picked up, that's Rob. Rob's been out all night. He's been running about 15, 16 hours now. He's on lap 16, which is absolutely awesome. My 5 makes it sound rather meek. Anyhow, let's see how I feel in a few laps. So, that was nice just to sit at Rob's pace for a little while in here and get a bit of an idea about what's going to be going on all night. So the rock platforms here, obviously a bit slippery. This is getting really muddy and sort of light soil on the rock face. There's not much topsoil at all. That's just slippery. So take it easy, because I don't really want to come down on lap 2. I've had the one fall, which was pretty mild actually. We all have those. So I was on a dry bit of trail, just not watching where I'm going to come down and pick myself up again, but I don't want to hit a rock or do a knee or a head or anything like that. So it's easy. This is a nice bit of trail here, bit of easy moving. So again, it's a bit drier. You can sort of trot along here at a nice easy pace without too much risk. So this is one of the lower sections of the course. This is really nice through here. It's been an awesome little bushwalk on a nice day. Pretty wet at the moment, obviously. I was just watching some people there as well who were running on the higher trail, and the question I continually have is, are they in front of me or behind me? Because you can't really tell. It twists and turns that often. I was just saying, so here's a guy coming running at me. Pretty sure he's in front of me. Morning. Look. That was actually a rockscape. Rock climbers would love that. Good idea. Telling his friends probably get up there at time to time. But downhill, we need those. It's not overcook it though. Don't really burn those candles at both ends. We just cruise down to help that average pace along a little bit without putting too much shock through the bones and the muscles. This is awesome, right at the bottom of the rock face. A few caves in here. And the ferns to walk through, it's beautiful. The water's falling on us from the rock face, just dripping down. It's not actually raining at the moment. We are sitting in low cloud. It's just rather pleasant. There's a beautiful cave, look at that. No doubt that's been a home to someone over centuries. Now it's hard to tell what's really gone on in these sort of places over the centuries with the initial inhabitants. But you know, they walk through this area leaving fairly limited trace, and that's what we do today. There are carvings and paintings around, but they're well hidden and they're probably destroyed in some of the open places as well. The history of this area up here, we're out of Sydney, where white men landed all those years ago. It was really a prime opportunity for the British as they invaded this place. And much of the population, original population, was pushed into a fairly narrow section of the mountains and then really moved out. A lot of the original inhabitants, descendants, still live in the area. A lot of them have been dispersed as well, but that's magic to sit down with them and listen to some of the stories of the days gone past and the reality of how this place was cared for. Look it out there. This is cool. This is the mushroom. Don't have much holding this rock up, trust me. Look at that. The mushroom. Let's hope it doesn't fall when we run through here. What a gorgeous bit of natural structure. Okay, mud, and lots of it. This is where it's slippery. Yeah, my shoes are just covered in mud. So, on the back side of the rocks that we saw before, we come up nice and close to them. On the southern side of those now, they're towering up there a good maybe 40 metres or so. It's awesome. Get on the other side, there's more everywhere. So we're heading up under that one at the moment. Mud, and more mud. So we're in the valley area. This is a little wet. There's no way around it. I'm just walking through water at the moment. It's running down my direction. It's just wet and muddy. My feet are feeling really wet now. This was, this on the first lap. It's getting a lot worse. Yeah. This is ankle deep mud. What peeps out watching? This is getting soft. Marathoner. Apparently.
Yes!
Alright, here we go. This is the rock climbing again. Sorry, tree. In between big sandstone boulders. So nice. This is wet. I remember this first lap thinking, I've got to run the camera through here because I only need two hands. So apologies if I drop the camera in the mud. I can see the slippery tracks for the runners. And if you're trying to keep your feet clean and dry up until now, then sorry, they're gone. So, and whilst Rob might have changed socks and shoes a few times during the race, I think I'll just lump it. Here we are. So, check that out. Not really sure where I'm standing there, there's people coming at me. Losing time, but I'm about to turn right and head into the change again. So that's the first lap, peeps. You see what it's like. What an awesome trail. So glad I entered for this. I was a bit hesitant about it, but it's really just a training run. This is not a race. I think I'm off course there. Look at that. I think the next few laps I need to kick into gear a bit and not enjoying things too much. Woo! Start finish. That's a lap. You've seen the full lap. The battery's dying. Stupid me not being in the GoPro. I might on a future lap a quick charge of this, but I'm going to pop up every now and then and just grab a bit more footage just to fill this out, and we'll see at the end that I shan't be filming all the way through because the battery's just not going to make it. Listen to the beep. So we go through here and it says, well done Craig, you've just done another lap. Thank you. Oh, massage people, how tempting. Banana. Let's get some food in. Get back out on the trail. So as you saw there, we're about to get the whole group of people. It's be 20, 25 there. About to head off on the half marathon. So a lot of those are going to pass us. Yeah, they'll head out. Some quick people plus those that are full of adrenaline. Hey, Pete. Is that you, Rob? Yeah. There you go, bro. Doing well. We'll go through. You see the girls leading the half marathon. Way to go, girls. There'll be a few more of those come through shortly. Maybe the track up even more. Lap 3. This is interesting. So I'm feeling right. I'm still moving, still running. Have some walkies at times on the tough sections, but the open trails and the drier, flatter areas, I'm moving along all right. So I'm pretty happy with that as we approach halfway. I passed the guy just after the start finish, which feels good just to know that you're moving at the average pace of the part of the field that you're in, and you're not suddenly hitting that black hole where people are flying past you. Nobody's caught up with me yet. So see, a bit of footage there. We had the half marathon come through, but they've taken off on a different part of the course, which is good. I'm sort of not looking forward to that's the people coming past me in this area. It's a bit tricky, but that's good. So we're on our own down here with the Tracy Marathon nuts. Just take a lap at a time.
That's it.
Keep moving forward. Pace is irrelevant. I'm not chasing anybody or anything.
Julie gave me the right direction.
Oh, you guys joining us now, are you?
Yep.
That's nice. How are you enjoying the first lap?
Well, I think I'm the dead last to 29. Okay.
As long as you don't fall over.
It's only the beginning.
This is her first Trail 21 race, and in conditions like this.
If you're going to do it, mate, we'll do it properly.
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, so pretty happy at this point. We're 20.65 kilometres, which is theoretically about halfway. We're going to say the 21's half of the 42, but we're doing 8 kilometres per lap, which is a 40k, so I'm not sure we do 40 or 42. Who cares, it's going to be a long way anyhow. But yeah, pretty happy to get to halfway. I've made a friend. Hi, friend.
Hey, you can call me Jeff.
This is Jeff.
Hey.
And yeah, the trail's deteriorating, so are we, but we're still both enjoying it. It's nice to have a bit of company for a while. I'll see how long I can keep up. So that's the day done. 40k's finished. So as I mentioned, I didn't bring the GoPro and had to rely on the iPhone for video, and it died about 3.5 laps in, as you probably saw. So you can get to record anything from later in lap 3 into lap 4, lap 5, which is probably disappointing because they were the most exciting laps. So let's wrap up the whole event. Lap 1, just really not switched on, tuned in, heading out rather slippery, difficult trails, thinking to myself, I'm not really that keen on this, and I think 2 or 3 laps might do me. But at the end of lap 1, I've warmed up, and away we go. So the body's looking warm and the mind's looking warm. We're switched on and engaged into the run now. So lap 2 went really well, really happy. Cruised through that nicely. Into lap 3, still feeling pretty good actually. And then just sort of reset the goals to think about what we want to achieve with this now. And at the end of the day, it's a run. It's not a race for me. Let's get through the 40 Ks. It's a training exercise really, to build endurance and strength, leading into 2022 with the Kosciuszko Alpine Assault Triathlon, and then later in the year up to Port Macquarie for the half Ironman. So this is really about just getting some Ks into the legs in a pretty tough environment, and really love the race. Lap 3, finished all right. Went into lap 4, still feeling pretty good actually. And as count the laps down, the brain starts to think, this is good. We can get through this all right, and the body going all right. Obviously getting a little bit more fatigued as I go into lap 4. Probably halfway through lap 4 was really the toughest part of the race for me. I think I started to feel a little bit of fatigue there across the body. Still pretty motivated and looking forward to lap 5, knowing that's just one lap to go. But it's a little bit of rain set in. The clouds dropped down to about 900 metres, and we just sort of running in a bit of light mist. And whilst I didn't feel cold at all, if I touched my arms, they felt cold to touch. So I knew that's drawing heat and energy out of the body. So the plan going into the final lap was to warm up and fuel up. So I put on just a light cotton long sleeve shirt underneath my race shirt, and that kept my arms warm, so I'm not losing any heat. And then hydration. So I started to get a bit of a light headache at the end of lap 4, so I knew I need to hydrate a bit. So I pulled up 2 flasks with 300 mils in them each, and one of those with a bit of sweetie stuff, and that really got me going. So I downed one of those fairly quickly to get hydrated up well, and kept the other one for the rest of the lap, and then threw down a protein bar and a gel as well early in the lap, and then I think I finished off 2 more gels during that lap as well. But lap 4 was just wet, and I mean the trail was just completely saturated mud was what we were running through. So it was pretty tough actually. As the laps went on, the trail itself got tougher and tougher. We're slamming into 150 mil sort of puddles of mud. And even on lap 4, I had the leader of the race actually lap me. Only 2 guys lapped me, so I'm pretty happy about that. But I mean, they were moving pretty well. But I noticed as they sort of went on, they were hitting some of these puddles. We hear the moans and groans that I'm making as we're hitting some of those as well. So it's a really tough environment to run in as it got wetter and wetter. So we go into lap 5. I think the lap actually, the track actually dried out a little bit in spots, which was good and bad. So I actually had planned pretty much to walk lap 5, but found myself running most of it. But in some of the muddy areas, this wasn't possible. So in the mud, as some of the water dried out of it, become a little bit sticky. So you got to pull your feet out of the mud, which is pretty difficult at times as well. Also met up with a few of the half marathon runners on that lap in the parts that they were actually on the same trail as we were, so that was pretty cool to have people around you. And then as it turns out, when they turned off into the to head off to where they were going, there's a lady who was following me in the marathon event, so it was good just to have someone sitting on my heels for the rest of the event, and have a bit of a chat from time to time, and keep me honest with pace. So I didn't want her to pass me, not that she was overly keen to. She was keen to sort of sit with me, to give her someone to pace her along as well. So we were trotting along all right on some of the flat and drier areas, and then in the mud and the water, and we're both pretty keen just to pull up and get safely through those, because it was really difficult at times, and some of the places were pretty slippery at my age. The balance and the core strength is not as good as it should be, particularly when the going gets pretty tough. So pretty happy to get through those areas without a fall. Had a bit of a laugh as we'd fall over, so get to laugh with each other as she hit the deck 3 times in the mud. I was lucky not to come down and managed to recover a couple of times, luckily, but it was pretty treacherous and tough, and everybody was finding it really tough. And that's the nature of trail running, so that was the enjoyment of it. I can sit here now and say that I achieved that in the toughest conditions that we're likely to get, so I'm really happy with that. I finished in 7 hours 5 minutes for the 40k, satisfied with that. Probably thought initially, 5 laps to an hour a lap, not really knowing what the course was like, so once I'd reassessed that, I thought 6 hours would probably be nice, but with the weather and conditions add another hour to that, I think 7 hours is pretty good. So I'm suggesting I'll probably finish mid-pack somewhere. And the lady finished behind me. She was the first female across the line, so really well done to her. That's a great effort. She was stemming along pretty well. We had one guy who was sort of sitting 50 yards ahead of us for a good part of the last lap, and we're trying to chase him down. We're making some gains on him, but he put his foot down with about 2k to go. He looking over his shoulder all the time, didn't want us to catch him. So, but as we hit down through the last muddy canyon and then climbed up the rock face to the finish, I started to really run for home and managed to drag him back. So it's not about making up another place, but more about keeping myself honest and trying to push all the way home for the whole 7 hours. So thanks to him for giving me something to aim for, and sorry I took that last place off you, but that's running. To the crew, well done to Tony and the Blue Mountains Fitness crew. What a great event. Really well organised. The trail is fantastic. It's a single trail there. If you like sort of running that sort of stuff, it's the real premium of trail running for that sort of distance. But to throw the mud and the rain and stuff into it and manage to put the event on and achieve it successfully is a really credit to them. So yeah, well done. I'll be back next year, I think, to run it again, hopefully in dry conditions. I wouldn't mind doing that, because it's a real technical sort of trail. It's just really nice to run. I quite often like the open fire trails and the ability up a bit of speed, but to run some technical stuff at times is just a whole lot of fun. So yeah, really enjoyed the trail. Really jealous of Tony and his backyard. So now I'm back at Blackheath, and the pub here's, they're sort of closed between lunch and dinner, but they've been kind enough to give me a hamburger and chips, which is just going to go down absolutely glorious. It's rainy outside and about 9 degrees. That's the Blue Mountains in the summer, or close to summer. Where are we? Late November. So one day it's going to be 40 degrees, and the next day it can be down 9 degrees and raining. So that's it at the moment with the El Nino car moving in. Looks like it's going to be the way for the rest of the summer. I hope you enjoyed the video. The next one is possibly next weekend. We're heading to Rydal for a mountain bike race. All right, for those who survived the challenge or got as far as they thought they should today, well done. It was a really good event, and to Steve and to Rob, who ran the loser event, the last one standing, and did 16 laps, which is more than 3 times what I did. Kudos to you guys. That's really awesome. Throwing into there the night in the dark and the rain as well. Because we had a lot more rain last night than we did today. So big effort. Well done. Cheers, me out.